You lose your keys, you are alone in the room, and out loud without deciding to, you say, okay, where did I put you? Nobody is listening. There is no one to answer. But you said it anyway. This happens more than you think. In the kitchen, in the car, standing in front of an open fridge, muttering, what am I even looking for? You have done this 1,000 times and barely noticed it. But the real answer for why you do this is far stranger than habit, and it starts before you could even form a sentence. Most people assume talking to yourself is a small malfunction, a leftover twitch from childhood you were supposed to grow out of. But the science says the opposite. That voice is not a glitch. It is a tool, and it was built for you a long time ago by people who never had the luxury of being alone with their thoughts for very long. Watch a young child closely enough and you will catch it. A 4-year-old stacking blocks, saying under her breath, this one goes here. No, try the big one first. She is not performing for anyone. She is talking to herself because at that age, thinking and speaking have not yet split apart. The psychologist Lev Vygotsky studied this and reached a conclusion that still holds up. He argued that speech does not follow thought in children. It creates it. A child first solves problems by having an adult narrate the steps out loud. Then slowly she starts narrating those steps herself, guiding her own hands with her own voice, long before she can do it silently. Vygotsky called this private speech. It is not the child talking to be heard. It is language used as a set of hands to grip her own mind with. Here is the part that should surprise you. That voice does not disappear when you grow up. It goes underground. Somewhere around age 7, most children stop narrating out loud and start narrating silently. The words move inward, but they do not vanish. Psychologist Laura Berk spent years recording children working through puzzles and found something remarkable. The kids who talked to themselves most while tackling a hard task were often the ones who solved it fastest. Their muttering was not distraction, it was scaffolding. Berk's research suggests this private speech never fully stops. It just becomes what you and I call inner monologue, the quiet stream of words behind your eyes telling you what to focus on next. So why does that voice sometimes climb back out loud even now as an adult? Because under enough pressure, silence is not efficient enough. Picture yourself searching for a lost object, not just thinking about looking for it, actually looking, eyes scanning, hands moving things aside, and somewhere in the middle of it you say the object's name out loud. Glasses, glasses, that is not nothing. Researcher Gary Lupien ran a study on exactly this. People who repeated an object's name out loud while searching for it found it faster than people who searched in silence. Saying the word seemed to sharpen the mental image of what they were looking for, like tuning a blurry picture into focus. The voice was not commentary on the search. The voice was part of the search. This is where it gets stranger still. Your ancestors were rarely alone at all. For most of human history, people lived in small, tight groups where speaking out loud was the default state of being awake. Thoughts were processed communally, in real time, because someone was almost always there to process them with. Total solitude, the kind you feel scrolling alone in a quiet room, is a strange modern luxury. Your brain did not evolve for silence. It evolved for a running conversation. When no one else is available to have that conversation with you, some part of you fills the role yourself. That explains the muttering. It does not fully explain the arguing. You know the one, alone replaying a conversation that already happened, or rehearsing one that has not happened yet, saying your half of it out loud. Sometimes both halves. This is not private speech helping you find your keys. This is rehearsal, and it serves a different purpose. Saying words out loud forces you to commit to a version of what you meant. It is easier to catch a weak argument when you hear it leave your own mouth than when it floats, half-formed in your head. There is a flip side to this voice, though. Psychologist Ethan Kross has spent years studying what he calls chatter, the anxious, looping inner speech that spirals instead of solving anything. The same voice that helps a child stack blocks can, under stress, turn into a loop with no exit. But Kross found something useful here too. The way you talk to yourself matters. People who address themselves in the second person, you can handle this. Or by their own name, you've got this, calmed down faster and performed better under pressure than people who used I. A small shift in pronoun created just enough distance to turn the voice from an enemy back into a coach. So the same mechanism that helps a toddler stack blocks is the mechanism helping you talk yourself down from a bad day, find your glasses and rehearse the email you are too nervous to send. Under enough pressure, or simply alone in a kitchen looking for your keys, your brain reaches back for the original tool. Not because something is wrong with you, because it works. Notice how this plays out around you once you start paying attention. The athlete mouthing a single word before she shoots. The programmer muttering through broken code until the bug finally shows itself. The person pacing their living room the night before a big decision, having an entire conversation with no one, because hearing the decision out loud is the only way to know if it holds up. None of them are malfunctioning. They are doing what a 4-year-old does with a pile of blocks, using their own voice to think a thought too large to hold silently. So tonight, when you are alone again, and a sentence slips out of your mouth to a room with no one in it, do not laugh it off as a quirk. That is not empty air. That is the oldest problem-solving tool you own, still doing exactly the job it was built for, still trying to help you find your keys,